Hello YouTube and welcome to my YouTube channel Anna Bella, and today I am going to be reviewing Free Your Mind, The Matrix Now, which is a stage show that is being put on in Manchester at the new Factory International Theatre space, which is completely massive, completely immersive, and I'm going to get straight on to the review because I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. To the review. To start with, I'm giving it 5 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. It's an hour and 20 minutes. You can watch it on BBC iPlayer. It was on BBC Two for New Year's Eve. Overall, they have minimal colour. So you're looking at greens, whites, greys, reds, obviously. There are 3 red women. I know, shocker, horror. Trinity has red hair for an obvious reason, to make her stand out, otherwise she would blend into the background. Neo's coat in this is grey, and it's to make him stand out. Morpheus is brilliant in this. He wears a white robe. That's all you need to know. He's kind of like so free and so out of it that it's impossible. Hugo Weaver, his speech as Agent Smith is used, though the actor and dancer that they've got playing Agent Smith reminded me of Ghost. That's beside the point. To understand Free Your Mind, The Matrix Now, you have to have seen The Matrix quadology. Can't believe it's a quadology, and parts of the Animatrix are used with the trial of the first machine to kill a person, which I thought was fantastic. The stage is massive, and that's also a problem, but it's also a bonus. Because the stage is so big, it's one long rectangle, the main action happens in the middle, so they put an extra set of dancers either side, which is really good, so you don't miss out on anything. But because this is the first, performance that's been filmed, because Danny Boyle himself said that he didn't know how this was going to go down with viewers who watched it on the telly, it makes it very difficult. So they're either viewing from the end, so you're seeing all of the action, or focusing on just on the middle, which means that you're missing out on the 2 dancers either side. I have to say, Neo and Trinity's ballet made me cry. In fact, I watched it and then pulled the video back to watch it again. It was so beautiful. There is a lovely Trinity ballet as well. People were saying, why are you calling it a ballet? It's dance. And I'm like, well, for me, it looked like ballet. They also have this massive video screen where you see birds flying, and it's so, so beautiful when she does that. Obviously, it's immersive. Dance, ballet, there are even a bit panto-y, to be absolutely honest. It starts with Alan Turing, God bless Alan Turing, he's awesome, of Enigma and mathematical fame and code breaking and cyanide poisoning apples and all sorts of stuff that is Alan Turing's incredible life. Tragic but incredible, but he saved millions of lives and ended the Second World War by 2 years. Not just him, all of her 8 at Bletchley Park. But he gives this beautiful lecture at the start of this, and it made me cry. But it was also a bit panto-y because he encouraged the audience to answer him back as well, which I was like, okay, so this is what we're doing. Obviously, Factory International is the new drama space in Manchester, and Manchester is the home of the very first machine. And it's also the home of where the Industrial Revolution in Britain began, and it's one of the reasons why we have factories today. No small feat. So there's a lot of firsts happening here. Incredible. And I'm loving the story wasn't told, it was told in chronological order, but it had gaps of different things happening. So you'd have Neo escaping the pod, but they'd have dancers escaping out of mesh. It was beautifully done, that. And then you'd have him meet Trinity before that, and they'd have this dance. And it was the first time where you actually saw Neo smile. Yeah, I know, shock horrors, because Keanu Reeves, bless him, didn't smile. And you understand why he didn't smile, because he was hiding his emotions, with the whole sunglasses thing going on. But he actually smiled. In fact, Neo smiled all the way through this. He was really curious and really happy. But that's beside, and almost happy to be discovering himself, happy to be freeing his mind, happy to be falling in love. It was lovely. And it was interesting at the start of their first dance, I call it the Trinity and Neo ballet, he's noticing, actually, she's really free, but actually she's pretty hot. But it's like done really respectful, his gaze. It's like an adoration and awe. And then at the end of the dance, Trinity does the same to him. And she's like, after she's done that, she's like, yeah, he's pretty good. I mean, he can fly and do all these fancy things. And it's really quite cool. And then she like circles round him and looks him up and down. It's like, yeah, he's a bit of all right. And then she puts her sunglasses on quickly and leaves. Like, I can't give myself away. And that was fascinating to watch. I watched that twice. But it was so good. The storytelling, there's very little dialogue. You really do have to know your Matrix scenes to pick it out. And even in the interval, they had these human beings on batteries wheeling them around, and it was like, follow the white rabbit to leave the theatre, follow the white rabbit. So you had to follow that. Obviously I didn't, because I wasn't there, I was watching on telly, but they followed the white rabbit. They even had this beautiful scene of the Oracle's house. It was during the interval, so obviously they had the children there doing the thing with the bending of the spoon and various things, and we saw a bit of that. And then we saw some of the other performers, like the humans on batteries wheeling them around in the brown coats. It was just really immersive. It was like, you know, those Monet and Van Gogh immersive art experiences. It's like that as well. There's a bit where you sort of sit and you watch the story, and then in the interval it's where you were interactive, but there was the story still happening around you. And even if you were watching it on telly like I was through the television, you still got that. They still took you around and showed you, because obviously not everybody can get to Manchester, particularly on New Year's Eve. That's bonkers. But it was fascinating. There were two things that weren't in the Matrix. Obviously the beginning bit with Alan Turing. I love the fact that he was the overall sort of architect, because he is the father of computer science and the grandfather of AI. So what better man to start this off than Alan Turing? It was beautifully done. And in Manchester, which I've mentioned is the birthplace of machinery and the Industrial Revolution. Moving swiftly on from that, they also talked about advertising. Now, as soon as you start talking about advertising, your brain automatically starts thinking of either McDonald's or some of the logos. So they had this whole thing on advertising, and they had this 1950s housewife going around holding a Coca-Cola bottle, whilst on the screen there was a 1950s housewife showing you where everything went in the new refrigeration cooler. Everything in a proper place, and everything must go there, and and it was really well done. People are like, but why? And I love Neo's expression through all of this. It was like awe. It's like he was deconstructing it as he watched, which is fascinating, because it's like how the Matrix controls you through advertising and what labels you wear, and and the fact you wear Christmas pajamas during Christmas. I mean, why do we do that? Come on. Look, I'm wearing them now. So that was fascinating. Then they moved it on, and they had this whole piece where Neo was trying to talk to people plugged in, but to show that they were on their phones. So they had this whole set piece which involved Netflix with their proper logos, Google, their proper logo, Apple, their proper logo, and Amazon. And that was fascinating, because it's the Matrix now, obviously in 2023. And beyond. So I had this whole set piece about that. But the thing is, as soon as you start critiquing advertising, you have to use those company names. So in a way, you're advertising the company whilst also pulling out the faults of modern society at the same time. So the weirdness of that is just weird. But I thought it was really good and really appropriately, and it just slid nicely into the Matrix narrative. The story continued, and it basically ends at the end of the first movie. So I'm like, well, why are you talking about the other three movies then and the Animatrix? Well, they actually had scenes from the Animatrix. They had the murder scene, the trial from the robot that committed the first human murder of a robot, of a machine killing a person, and the war, and when the sky got scorched, which is obviously one place where we saw one of the red ladies. Trinity had red hair all the way through to show attraction and to actually stand her out, because yes, she was wearing her traditional oil suit, but because of the black, she would blend in and you wouldn't be able to pick her out. were not the red hair, hence why Neo also wore a grey coat so you could find them easily on stage. Because remember, there's no dialogue. Neo and Trinity said nothing throughout the whole of this. It was all done on body expressions and expressions of the face, because it's a dance show. I call it ballet, you know, basically ballet. They were all wearing walking boots. They're basically doing ballet in walking boots, and it was so beautifully done. Some people will kill me and say, it wasn't a ballet, and I'm like, I don't care. It looked like ballet. They moved like ballet dancers. It was beautiful. I think we have to open up our understanding of what dance considers, what dances are ballet, and I think that this show actually bridges that gap. It was so modern and so retro at the same time, but so current, you know, like the taste of metal that's rusty. It was like that. It was like, yeah, this is so current and so now, but also so past. So you obviously had the blonde red woman. She did make an appearance when they did that scene, but she was over the video screen. I thought that was nice to include her, because it was just nice to have red, you know, something else, because it was very grey, very green, very black and very blue and very white. Apart from the spottings of red, which we used beautifully throughout the whole of this show. So you had some back scenes of the animatrix to fill in the gaps of how the society had ended up there. Morpheus's role was beautifully done. It was so, so well done. The Oracle was done during the interval, so you didn't actually see her on stage, and that's because they obviously wanted the children to be able to be in that scene. So you did see it when they took you around the interval. Watch the telly version. It's still on BBC iPlayer for the next 11 months. Brilliant. And then obviously you had the ending where it was so, so lovely. So beautifully, but actually that fight reminded me very much of the fight in the third Matrix film. So yeah, because it was just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I really enjoyed it because it's based off the Matrix, Matrix Revolutions, Matrix Reloaded, and Matrix Regeneration, which I think is the fourth one. Is it? Who knows? And obviously parts of the Animatrix. Not all of the Animatrix, because the Animatrix is a bit traumatic. But this whole thing was beautifully done. I really enjoyed it. 5 out of 5 from me. Do check it out. It's brilliant. I was blown away by it. And I love the inclusion of Alan Turing and the 1950s housewives with advertising and the current social media and phones and all the platforms and all the logos. It was the Matrix Now, and it was beautifully done. Beautifully done. There is also at the start of it a little scene where Danny and some of the choreographers are explaining some of the choices that they've made to make the show as great as it is, but it also enables you to understand it, because if you just came into it, you'd just be like, okay, what am I watching? Which scene is this? Because there were a couple where it's just like them dancing in black, and I was like, which scene is this? And then it suddenly hit me what it was afterwards. I loved the faces of the machines that they've got. It's really, really good. 5 out of 5. If I did a higher rating system, I'd give it 10. This musical, and people say it's not a musical, there's no singing, but there is music. The music that they use is brilliant all the way through, and you can see the emotions. Admittedly, that the sunglasses thing, the only character that really has them is Trinity, and she has it for a reason, because she doesn't want to give her feelings away to Neo too quickly, even though they have that ballet. As soon as that's done, as soon as she's done checking him out, she puts the sunglasses on. It's like, off. I'm off now. Come and find me. So, yeah, 5 out of 5. That's basically it. Well, I hope you enjoyed my review of Free Your Mind, The Matrix Now, put on by Danny Boyle in Manchester at Factory International, the new cultural theatre, drama, dance, ballet, panto space that they have there for immersive art. Try saying that 5 times twice. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like, comment and subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification bell for my next video. Thank you so much for the support.